Good afternoon. It is Sunday, November 13th, around 1:30 in the afternoon. Today I'm going to be discussing certainly the way I see it, or my belief on how the system works with regard to the birth certificate and the system in general, what happened and where we are today with regard to what the definition of a U.S. citizen is. To start off with, what I did was I did a summary, which is something like 30 pages, of how the system works or how I see how it works, and what we're to do with it and the different avenues over the years to get where we are today. So this was labeled a private communication that I had sent out to a judge, Mark Spicer, in Broward County, and I also sent this to a local priest, hoping that he would be able to facilitate during this Jubilee year of Mercy, which ends, I believe, on the 20th of this month. Or is it December? Anyway, it got nowhere, so no sense keeping anything private anymore. So what I have labeled this as is Declaration of Peaceful Inhabitant. Some people would quibble over the word inhabitant as a person, but in this instance, when going to explain it, it's may be considered a person, but I describe myself as a living soul or a man, and in this document, well, like I said, which is 30 pages, quite long. It goes into it's summary, but it is detailed with regard to the various areas, which there's no sense explaining it. I'll just start reading it. Again, this is referred to, I wrote this is not off the internet. I put it together, and I did this basically as a something for me to go back to for reference, so I'm hoping sharing it will help those as well. Declaration of Peaceful Inhabitant. Be it known to all men of interest by and through special appearance that I, a man, commonly called by Anthony or Anthony Francis or Tony, divinely created by my Creator, who gave man stewardship, use, control, and dominion as usufructuary over the earth, the usufruct, do hereby declare and state with first-hand knowledge and fact that I am a peaceful inhabitant who acknowledges, accepts, and follows as supreme authoritative law that which comes only from God, the Creator of all men. And I go on to define all men, meaning all men, women, children, adults, as a definition. It's not just man only. God, the creator of all men and everything on earth. Then I go into scriptural references. Under Genesis 1, 26 through 30, number 26, and God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let him have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life. I have given every green herb for meat, and so it was, and it was so. Again, that was Genesis 1 through 26. And then I go on under Psalm 24:1. Number 1, the earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Under God's law, we as men are commanded as follows, and then I quote John 13:34. 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. Under Romans 13:8. Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law. And further under Matthew 6:14 through 15. 14. If ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Under Matthew 18:15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established. Under Job 32:21 to 22. 21. Let me not, I pray you, accept any man's person, neither let me give flattering titles unto man. For I know not to give flattering titles, in so doing my Maker would soon take me away. Then I go on to the narrative. To remain in honor with the supreme authority who had created me, and who, through his divine grace, permits my next breath to continue, as a flesh and blood, incarnate, living soul, I must with great conviction bring forth the following information to you, my brother's attention, and if there has been any possible legal presumption of death in absentia, or that I consent to act in or for any surety, obligation as trustee, executor, or administrator for any person, please correct this mistake. Please take note, I am not missing, I have not fled, I am not lost at sea, nor should I be considered civilly dead, or anything of a fictional nature. By my Creator's grace, I am alive, breathing, and well, as a man, divinely created in the image of the Creator. I do not consent to act as any fiduciary, surety, executor, trustee, or administrator of any person, taxpayer, ens legis, entity, individual, whoever, estate, name, infant, strawman, or other fictional man-made titles. First and foremost, as my brother, you have accepted and contracted for a fiduciary position of authority as a trustee to administrate in one official capacity or another the public trust. I believe as part of this position of authority, you voluntarily acknowledge, accept, and agree to moral, lawful, and legal fiduciary duties and responsibilities to uphold all the laws of the United States. And that is a very key point, to uphold all the laws of the United States, not the ones that just personally profit them by our error by making false claims against state property or the name. In this position of honor and trust, you are required to fulfill this fiduciary position either as trustee, executor, or administrator in all matters relating to that office you hold, and you agree to be legally bound accordingly by and through your oath of office. This is confirmed by 63C American Juris 2nd, sections 241 through 250, public officers and employees, and 5 CFR 2635.101, basic obligation of public service. Please note, I'm not trained formally in man-made laws, public policy statutes, or legalese, or the like. However, it is my belief that written on each man's heart is the immutable and eternal law of his Creator. The Creator has given man free will to follow that law or not. God is the Creator of all things on earth. This includes all men. The Creator is the owner of the creation. Man, as usufructuary of his creation, through divine gift, has the right of use, dominion, possession, and control of his earth. However, only the Creator, as supreme authority, can claim ownership or dominion over his creation. This includes all men. It is well established throughout history there can be no other supreme authority which all men have been given equally and freely natural inherent rights by the same supreme authority. Therefore, all men by nature equally free and independent and have certain inherent natural rights, of which when they enter a society they cannot by any compact deprive or divest their posterity. And that's under the Oxford 5th edition. When one man or group of men attempts to presume authority over another man, it can only be done by deception, coercion, threat, or under duress, absent of well-informed, knowing, voluntary, and intentional consent. Then I go to quote a case law, Henne versus Wright. Henne, Henne, v. Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, and this is from 1990. The founders of the nation deeply believed that the individual took primacy over government. People existed and had rights before there was such a thing as government. Government might protect or recognize rights, but rights, some of them anyway, existed before government and independently of it, and would continue to exist after government had been destroyed. The source of rights was not the state, but as the Declaration of Independence put it, the Creator. And that ends that quote. The following points are a summary of information that have been brought to my attention through many hours of study. If I have made any error in understanding or interpretation, I ask that you forgive me and correct me. If what I have discovered and now presenting is accurate, I would ask that you, in your official or executive capacity, be in honor and take proper and lawful action to correct any presumptive errors, mistakes in the past that may have occurred by and through operation of law, and advise me in detail how to proceed in the future in order not to interfere with state affairs. So let me just go through this very quickly as an explanation point for those that may not know. When you get the birth certificate, it is sent to you intentionally and for your exclusive use. It is considered state property, the name. And the state holds the original document, title, or record. And what they send you is a certified copy of that record. And obviously that starts the process of you, the man or woman, into the area of commerce, which is controlled by Congress. So when you get that birth certificate, you may be a baby, your parents get it. Your parents do not sell you into slavery. That is just not right at all. They may be considered informers to provide the name for the fictional entity, or factitious entity would be more accurate. So for instance, John Smith. The parents named the child John, and Smith would come from the family, so the state puts the two names together to create a title, or a fictional person, or an individual, or a taxpayer, or however you want to call this person. and the baby gets that. Of course, when they hand the certified copy of the birth certificate, they do not give in any way, shape, or form any instructions as to what are your rights and responsibilities to this entity. So that creates a major presumption on the part of the parents and the child who eventually grows up to be the man or woman, and basically a surety for the U.S. debt, because under 12 U.S.C. 95A, when Roosevelt had the bankruptcy or declared a national state of emergency, I think it was in 1933, all property was seized and confiscated in order to continue running the government. And then, of course, everything went downhill and continues to go downhill. So the key is the name is not your property, and that's exactly what it is. And what happens is when you make a claim to such property that you do not own, it's just something you're a mere user of, and you use it always for the benefit of the state. So anytime, for instance, you go get a driver's license, or you go into court or whatever, the state somehow, and I do not understand this, it's not important whether I understand, they somehow securitize it or monetize it, and everything that goes in that name, whether it's a car or a bank account or a house or any property that's titled to that name, obviously the state owns it. I recently posted, I was asking questions with regard to the property taxes on the condominium, and if it violated Title 31 or 31 USC 3124. And I sent like 100 pages of this stuff, and it basically got ignored. I sent it to the Value Adjustment Board. They did not even address it. They just said the property was fairly valued. Just quickly, if you didn't know what the 31 USC 3124 is, it has to do with computing a tax on debt obligations of the United States. And as you may know or may not know, the money or U.S. currency, U.S. funds, U.S. dollars there's only one denomination of it, and that's with Federal Reserve notes, which by 12 U.S.C. 411 and 18 U.S.C. 8 are defined as U.S. obligations. So Federal Reserve notes are U.S. debt obligations. Oh boy, that's a lot of stuff to remember. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing this video is, maybe Donald is going to do a great job. I really believe he's going to drain the swamp. I'm really excited about that. I think we all have a lot of hope for this. But it's been so serious what the government has done, and I'm not angry over it. I'm not nervous over it. What I'm trying to do is not participate in it, because what this does is it's very deceptive and it hurts other human beings. At least that's how I see this. It's not a belief. It's other people, such as government employees, tricking people, us regular quote-unquote, what we consider ourselves to be citizens, and there's a profit made on it. And ultimately, when the creditors of these Federal Reserve notes or debt obligations of the United States, which everything, if you remember, has a irrecusable, let me repeat that word, first lien obligation upon it, all property within the jurisdiction of the United States, what this means is we're all going to be the surety for all this stuff, and whatever that looks like, whether we lose the houses, the cars, the bank account, whatever, it's all theirs. So I can really be relaxed with this, mostly. I don't want to claim it. I get why it was done. It was a declared national state of emergency. They had to do what they had to do. But the problem is it's gone so overboard where it has become a very serious issue with the national debt, and ultimately the people are going to be the ones to suffer. And the ones who are promoting this or fostering this are the ones who are going to,